This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Did you know that many products for pregnant women do not have their own clinical trials for safety or efficacy? That's because pregnant women are often excluded from clinical studies. Ritual is aiming to set a new standard with their Essential Prenatal Multivitamin. It's the #1 best-selling prenatal and the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial. Essential Prenatal is proven to deliver key nutrients, including folate, biotin, and vitamin D during pregnancy. Moms taking Essential Prenatal had a lower overall cortisol level during pregnancy than those taking a leading prenatal. Plus, it's designed to be gentle on the stomach. Ritual doesn't just have your back. They have the receipts. Get 25% off at ritual.com/clinical. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Fan. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Louis on his way out, Kessler on his way in. Gaardsy now.
Minnesota Twins, all they do is win. They won today in a continuation from, I think, Monday's game.
That's right.
6-5. Cody Clemens with the walk-off. And so
that's, by the way, the guy that with us, Lavelle E. Neal III, dismissed.
Everybody's dismissing
Just dismissed him. Oh, cute little story, but it's not going to last. All I know, he's got an OPS over 1,000, and all he does is end ball games.
I heard Rosen talking about it with Common today, too, and saying, well, when the big boys come up, he's done, and they're going to figure him out eventually.
So patronizing.
Now, I know he's probably not performance-enhancing like his father did, but I'm guessing he's still got a pretty good pedigree, right? Clemens,
sure, absolutely.
Clemens was pretty good before he started the injections with Mr. McNamee. Brian McNamee, was that the guy?
I can't remember.
So anyway.
Was that Balco guy?
One of them, yeah, it was all part of that. So they get the 6-5 victory today. And then let me give
10 in a row at home, by the way.
Not bad.
I think that's the longest. I'm pretty sure our ball guys, I know Aaron Gleeman will be able to tell us tomorrow for sure. I believe that's the longest home winning streak in Twins history. 10 straight home games.
Wow.
Home victories, yeah.
So that's in peril at the moment.
Oh, no.
I mean, Twins will find a way.
How early is it?
Well, it's the top of the 8th now.
Ooh, that's late.
But they're trailing 2-1.
Oh, that's razor thin.
Jeffers singled in Castro in the 3rd inning. The Twins led 1-0. But in the 6th inning, let me see who they give these to. It was Paddock. Found himself in a little bit of trouble. He'd been cruising until then, but did give up the 2 runs there. So it's 2-1 Cleveland right now as they will wrap up this series whenever this game is over. And the Twins right now firmly in second place in the American League Central. They are a game ahead of the Royals and a game and a half ahead of the Guardians. So they'll be in second place no matter what happens after this one tonight.
I'm amazed because looking out the window, it looks like it's still raining, although maybe not as hard a rain. And
it's raining.
They're obviously trying to get the damn thing in, regardless of how challenging the last couple of days have been from a weather standpoint.
Yeah, there's not a ton of people at the game that aren't in the Champions Club, from what I'm gathering right now on the Twins channel. Everybody wearing ponchos to try to hang in with this thing, but top of the 8th, they do trail 2-1. Kansas City.
What channel is this game on? Do you know?
1261. 1261.
I lost my headset. Hold on a second. I can't even hear you.
All right. Well, I'll just keep talking to the masses. We do have music that goes underneath here. So as you re-plug in your headphones here.
Oh, no. It broke off.
The whole thing broke off. So now you can't hear anything. Okay. So now I'm really going to have to tap dance because Dan has to take the entire headset contraption off. I don't even know what could have possibly broken off underneath the table. Now he's got to put on the regular headphones, plug those in, wait for that, grab the cord, grab the cable. The Twins are still trailing 2-1. Sands on the mound for the home team. Something called Manzardo.
Not good.
0 for 3. You back?
Yeah, except that like the headset actually cracked off, unfortunately. So I got the old-fashioned one in.
All right.
So we're not dead yet. What channel did you say it's on?
1261. 1261.
I didn't even realize the numbers went up that high. That's remarkable. Oh, it's the Twins channel.
It's the Twins channel. They got to find a way somehow.
I forgot to hit enter on this one. Got to hit enter too, or else.
While you do that, I'll let you know.
Are we rallying?
We're pitching right now.
Oh, okay.
We're in the field. The tush push.
Yeah, it's staying. I'm very annoyed.
Well, I'm a little annoyed at all the momentum. Was it wishful thinking from everybody the last few days? It goes, good luck, tush push, it's over. The momentum. Everybody made fun. Who was it? The Packers, right? Everybody made fun of the Packers for putting the tush push rule up all the way back at the meetings we had a couple of months ago. But now it sounds like they got momentum. Sounds like Jason Kelsey's getting credit for it. He apparently flew in for an impassioned plea.
Yeah, that's what annoys me.
Stupid. In defense of the tush push.
Doesn't he have anything better to do?
Well, he's got a podcast. He's got like 4 kids. He's got a show with his wife.
Are the owners that malleable, by the way? He walks, changed my mind. Although, I mean, they had a majority in favor of getting rid of it, but
yes,
they needed
22 of them.
They needed 2 more votes, correct? They needed to get to 24.
And apparently, according to Seth Wickersham from ESPN, it got heated today in Egan.
Oh, really?
With executives
Is that
in the
right?
league meeting, multiple sources with firsthand knowledge. Eagles owner, of course, made an impassioned speech in defense of it.
Oh, my God.
He pulled out all the stops. One source close to Jeffrey Lurie said he knew he needed to throw a Hail Mary.
They're acting like there's some great, freedom principle at stake here. In all seriousness, it's the tush push, for God's sake. Oh, my. And I guess the Lions, they had the proposal about, in effect, doing away with you automatically getting home field if you win the division. And they withdrew it, though, before a vote because they clearly figured out they didn't have enough votes to pass it. So that went away as well. I thought that might be going somewhere, too. I don't even know how I feel about that. That can go either way. By the way, it's now 3-1. Somebody just hit a Santana. Our guy, Carlos Santana, hit a solo dong. So now Cleveland is leading 3-1, still batting in the top of 8.
And for those keeping score, the exit velocity was 108.6. So for Kevin Kernan, go ahead and write that in your scorebook, the exit velocity. An hour apparently passed while they were debating this.
Yes.
Just going back to the tush push. When San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York asked Lurie, the Eagles owner, how much more bleep he needed to say. Apparently there were a few scattered laughs.
Is
but the
that
room
right?
was quiet and tense. The room was quiet.
And tense.
And tense.
Interesting.
So there you go. Wolves lost last night.
They did?
Yep. They got routed in the second half, 70-40. So they trailed the Western Conference Finals 1-0. Game 1 in the East at Madison Square Garden. Knicks and Pacers tonight.
Well, we'll save a little more look back at game number 1. We started the show with it, and we'll get back to that between 5:15 and 5:30 before Kessler is in the mix. I'm assuming the Knicks are favored in this series?
They are slightly. I think they're
favorite.
minus 150, something like that.
Fair enough. And the series does start in the Garden,
It does.
correct?
The Thunder, by the way, minus 700 now to win the series.
Ooh, is that right?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road to hoe here.
I can't wait for the camera shots of Steph Marbury celebrating at Karl Anthony Towns 3. You know, that lifelong New York Knick who's meant so much to the organization, did so much at the Garden when he was a member of the team, even though he didn't win a single playoff game in a New York uniform.
Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest, and the keyword is check. That's the final keyword of the afternoon. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword check.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Man. Homework for Tom Hauser, I should say for Kessler. This is from Tom Hauser 2 minutes ago. A deadline self-imposed by Minnesota legislative leaders for, quote, working groups, unquote, to finish agreements on budget bills has come and gone as of 5 p.m. No deals announced and no agreement with Governor Walz on timing of a special session. Only the tax working group is meeting in public. So there you have it. We'll get into that and much more with Special K, Pat Kessler. He's going to join at 5:30. So what happened to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1? Well, a lot of things went wrong in the second half. Some of them, I think, fairly obvious and self-evident. A first half that impressed me defensively from a Wolves standpoint, where I thought they did make the Oklahoma City offense look uncomfortable. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looked uncomfortable. He had a very quizzical look on his face when he was on the bench, like, what are they doing here? What the hell's the deal? It doesn't seem like a lot's coming very free and easy to us. Unfortunately for the Wolves, despite that fact, they didn't really have much of a lead. They built a lead as great as 9, I think, in the first half, and then saw it diminish to, I believe, 4 with a couple of late breakdowns and a couple of those infuriating turnovers. So it's 4 points at the half, and you say, well, Oklahoma City can play a lot better offensively, but the Wolves could play a lot better offensively. So maybe you're okay. You're on the road. It's Game 1. You're certainly, hanging with them. You're ahead of them. You've got their attention. And then, unfortunately, the second half began, and it unraveled fairly quickly. Not immediately, but fairly quickly. And it was not difficult to discern that you had a couple of significant issues that the Wolves will have to address and to improve upon to get back in this series and even it up at a game apiece. The Ant Colony's got to rebound. The Ant Colony as a whole, from a shooting standpoint, might have had its worst game of the season. The Colony was a combined... By Colony, I mean Naz, Na, and DiVincenzo, right? Those are the big 3, and you would say in the Colony, correct? Those are 3 bench players.
Yep.
Combined 7 for 36 from the floor.
Not going to work.
Not going to work. Naz Reid was 1 for 11 for the game.
3 turnovers, I think, right?
That's correct. And he was 0 for 7 from three-point range. Now, the question of how were these shots, the three-pointers, are these shots you'd take? You're going to make them some nights and some nights not? But that if you had the exact same shots available to you in Game 2, you'd take them? I would say not so fast, my friend, and I'd say especially a couple of Naz's I didn't like at all. I know Naz has, he thinks he's got great range.
Yep.
But even by Naz standards, I thought he was pulling the trigger a little bit too easily. And I do think, even against a stubborn defense that loves for you to put the ball on the floor, right? They love it for you to put the ball on the floor. You still have to find a way occasionally to get to, I know it's foreign in the league these days, but to a mid-range game. I know most of you think SGA is a cheater. I know most of you think that part of the story is infuriating. But one of the things that SGA does that can be effective, because he's not been a particularly good three-point shooter in the postseason at all, is this thing called the mid-range. Because sometimes he's driving all the way to the hoop and trying to get something, but sometimes he's taking mid-range shots. I think we took, I added them up. I think we took 7 2-point shots in the game. Well, I might be exaggerating, but not by much.
Well, Anthony Edwards, here's a number for you. His average shot length last night was 25.8 feet.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what they were rolling with on ESPN all morning.
That's lengthy,
He had one attempt at the rim. It was that dunk where he got fouled.
And he got fouled. That was a good play. That was a good drive.
And he went to the line.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that was the biggest number of his career in that regard.
Are the Wolves streaky enough that they're capable of hitting twice or 3 times as many of those 3-pointers as they did in game 1? Yes.
Very much.
And maybe you steal a game that way. But I don't know that it's... I want to see a greater blend than that, and that is, I think you got to figure out their wall defense. You got to find a way to penetrate that defense, or move their defenders around in a way where then you can, you can find some openings. I think Edwards and Julius had a combined 9 turnovers. I'm up and down on the plus-minus stat, but the Anthony Edwards minus was the worst on the team. Randall was not far behind. Oddly, one of the better plus-minuses, I think it was like -2, was Rudy.
That's true.
And we didn't talk with Chris Hine, who covers the Wolves for the Star-Tribune, about the Rudy factor. There's a part of me that says, one way or another, Rudy's got to be a bigger part of the solution. I don't necessarily mean offensively, but I just mean as a presence. Now, he got into that early foul trouble.
Stupidly.
Yeah, and the second
one
was dumb. It
really dumb.
It was the right call.
Yep.
That was one of those calls where you left the ref with no choice but to call it.
Yeah.
Made no sense to me at all.
And they did a good job boxing him out, by the way. It didn't feel like it was we're just grabbing him all the time.
Right.
I'm sure he would disagree, but they kept him off the offensive glass, I thought, very well.
So I want to see more of a mixture offensively for sure, however they figure this thing out. But let's face it, you're going to have to... I mean, both teams shot poorly first half. Wolves shot poorly second half. Oklahoma City, I think, was over 60%. Oklahoma City scored 70 in the second half. That's not going to work. Obviously, you got to sustain your defensive excellence from the first half, or at least try to stay on that at a better level. But somewhere in there's got to be some kind of a mid-range opportunity. Now, Randall at his best is sometimes being the point forward, but getting rid of the ball quickly. And now there's occasion when he's doing bully ball or he's got to back somebody down, he's going to have it a little bit. But you got to be really careful of that in this series against these guys because they feast on all of that. But I prefer the Randall who's maybe, bringing the ball up, but is getting rid of it quicker than he tended to as that game went on. And so, if we're ranking the adjustments, I think the biggest just has to be, even leave aside shooting. I didn't think Naz gave anything. Now, he had a couple of nice assists. I'll give him that.
He had one nice block.
He did. And he did have one nice block. That's a good point. But I didn't think, even as a floor game, he was very good. I didn't think DiVincenzo was very good, to be honest with you.
Well, he was like Steph Curry for a minute.
I
like his shot. It always looks good.
It does, but it doesn't go in enough.
And the quick ones are just as bad, even if they're wide open, when the game is, and the counter argument, because I was making it to myself, as you can imagine, I was going through it last night.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm
hard not to.
Just watching the Shea stuff, and then I'm watching the Wolves kind of self-destruct. And the argument, and I'm sure they've talked about this, sometimes the best shot you're going to get against Oklahoma City is the first one because their defense is so good. So you can't be too picky about moving the ball around. If you're open and you think, and you've caught it in rhythm, I'm sure that's a tantalizing thing for DiVincenzo because a lot of them, he caught it and went right up with it, and it looks like a good shot. But in the context of the game, you just need you need something to slow them down a little bit because they were taking the long rebounds and going. And that's where the DiVincenzo thing kind of lost me last night is he was just flinging them from all over the place and not enough of them went in.
The Ant Colony got outplayed by their bench.
Including guys I've never heard of
That's
last
true,
night.
too.
Guys 9 and 10.
Yes.
Not good.
And Anthony Edwards got outplayed by Gilgeous-Alexander. I know people want to hate him. I mentioned that via Twitter last night, and people got mad because they're mad at what they think SGA represents. you can be mad at that, and I don't totally blame you. There are more objective observers of this league who think that there's a problem with the way that he is being officiated. I don't even disagree with that, but you'd have to be foolish to not understand that in the second half of that game, their star outplayed our star. Now, maybe Edwards was hurt, doesn't matter, but Gilgeous-Alexander, after a miserable shooting first half, he was 2 for 13. He was 8 for 14 in the second half, got to the free throw line a bunch more, and he scored 20. Edwards and Randall combined only scored 13 in the second half of the ballgame. That's also not going to work. So you need the Colony, obviously, to play better, and they can. And you need Edwards to play better, and I think he can as well. Those things are both, I think, sort of prerequisites, because I know we've been here before, but I'll say again what I said at the start of the show. We ain't in California anymore. In Oklahoma City, whatever they are, whatever flaws they have, they are clearly a cut above either the Lakers or Golden State. And I think it's easy to fall into the trap of, well, but who they got on the team? They got that one star, and, well, who's he? He hadn't won any titles. And you get hung up on Steph Curry, and you get hung up on Butler, and you get hung up on LeBron and Luka, and you assume on that basis, well, those are still more dangerous teams. Oklahoma City is a vastly superior team. That doesn't mean they're unbeatable, but it means they're superior, which means your margin for error in recovering and sustaining your recovery, because it's not just about evening the series. The goal is to get to the finals. You got to win 4. So you're going to have to be, the hand's going to have to be on the plow even more, as the late great Denny Green would say, if you're going to pull this thing off. And those are two significant areas. I don't think Edwards scored it all in the fourth. We pulled our starters with, was it 3 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes ago?
I would have pulled him even earlier.
Might have been
let Ant's ankle rest.
Yeah, and again, maybe he was hurting more than he let on after the game. But in the second half of the game, SGA, whatever you think of the way he, he's a free throw merchant, whatever, foul merchant, was clearly superior. He recovered from a very mediocre first half, was a far larger factor in the ballgame, and Edwards was not a factor either score or really any other way. He did not impose much of his will on the game. All right, let's do this. Let's pause. I'll give you some texts a bit later via the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line 64686. Maybe even a few texts with Kessler. Lots to get to with him. I mentioned the item regarding not much progress at the in St. Paul when it comes to passing a budget, and there's a bunch of stuff for us to discuss on the political front, both locally, regionally, and nationally as well. All of that is next.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
I wish the American media would take a great look at the views of the people in Congress and find out, are they pro-America or anti-America?
Pat Kessler.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
You're a crook.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
Pat Kessler.
Tear down this wall.
I did nothing wrong at the Minneapolis airport.
Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Pat Kessler.
And now, to help Dan break down all the tough questions in politics, it's our own
Pat Kessler.
Political Wonk.
I feel like a supermodel, except like times 10.
It's Channel 4's
Pat Kessler.
with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
This Twins club refuses to quit, although, that was a ball hit on the, they call it on the screws, Pat Kessler, but right at the left fielder.
It's pretty amazing. I'm bottom of the ninth.
So we're down to our last out. Down 5-1 to the Guardians. A runner at second. Cody Clemens, the hero of Game 1, the walk-off hit in the ninth, and now we're down to our last at bat, and it looks like the 10-game home winning streak.
Well, just wait.
Come on, man. Is in peril.
Come on. Yeah, it is in peril for sure.
In peril for sure.
Yeah, so Cody Clemens, again, the spark plug of this scrappy.
The guy who Lavelle has just dismissed as fluky. Why would he? He's just saying, come on, cute little story.
Well,
but
come on,
it's
a great story.
It's a heck of a story is what it is.
It's a great, great story.
And you were there, what did you say, last week at the Champions Club?
A couple of weeks ago, yeah. And now, I was going to go to the game today if I could quickly duck into the Champions Club in the rain. It was raining the whole way here.
Yeah, it's been a miserable.
But they got it in.
Yeah, they got the suspended game in with the Twins victory.
I am looking at the crowd.
And now the regular game.
Yeah, behind home plate.
Empty?
It's pretty much empty.
Looks a little empty,
and
doesn't
you said
it?
they're heated seats.
No, you said they're heated seats.
Oh, no. That's
heated blankets.
Heated blankets. They came around, and I think it was just me, but they came around, and it was a little chilly.
You love that, don't you?
And they brought a blanket, not just a blanket, a heated blanket. Now, that has never, ever happened to me.
Ball game.
You know who is
ball game? Dang it!
It is ball game. Yeah.
Fly out to left.
5-1. Twins lose the nightcap after winning the completion of the suspended game.
You're so far from the farm, Pat.
Do you realize
heated blanket?
Well, 200.
Do you know who's
240 miles
rolling over in his grave right now?
Who's that?
The late great Bud Grant. This talk about I gotta have a little blanket to keep my legs warm at the ball game. Think of what Bud would say about that nonsense. I mean, think about it. He'd be appalled.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I
mean, I'm not saying I would turn it down either, but I think in all fairness, I mean, that the Buds of the world would say, come on.
And when that north wind blows in that outdoor stadium there, which is a beautiful stadium, Target Field. What? It's gorgeous. Why are you laughing?
It's just
I can't say something nice.
No, but I mean,
I can't say something nice.
You can. It's just so gratuitous.
We have what is a better stadium? I mean, you got Fenways, you got that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
It is a nice ballpark.
It's a nice
fantastic.
ballpark.
Have you ever sat Champions Club, Dan? I never have.
Have you ever sat?
No.
In the 15 years at Target Field.
All right. I've had Legends Club, but that's different. That's not Champions Club.
There's no
never
heated blankets.
Champions Club.
No heated blankets in the Legends Club.
Well, it's true.
Oh, my God.
What do you mean?
You guys sit courtside at Timberwolves games.
Oh, that's there.
And you're ripping me? Oh, yeah, you're there to work because that's what you do.
Well, kind of.
Oh,
a little bit.
For God's sakes.
That's
wild.
Did you hear me repeating the Hauser tweet?
I did not. Tell me.
A deadline self-imposed by Minnesota legislative leaders for working groups to finish agreements on budget bills has come and gone as of 5 p.m. No deals announced and no agreement with the governor on timing of a special session. Only the tax working group is meeting in public. So the moral of the story is, I think we talked about this a little bit last week.
They're not going to do it.
Nothing's going to happen. There's not going to be a special session even announced right now because there's no reason to. They're not far enough along. Right?
And if Hauser says it, it's true.
Well, that's true.
Number one. Top-notch reporter.
Okay.
But here's the deal. I mean, it sounds like this thing is disintegrating slowly, like the sand on the beach just going into the ocean. I mean, they want to get this done before Memorial Day. It ain't going to happen.
Memorial Day is this coming Monday, isn't it? No chance, is there?
No. They want to get it done. They don't have a lot of time left to do it. You know, if they don't do anything by July 1st, everything will shut down.
Good luck.
All right.
But no, they're not going to do it. And so, once again, all of these things that we wanted, that you personally wanted from the legislature, are not going to happen. And we can get to that whenever you want.
All right. So this is an ancillary subject. I'm looking at this is a Star Tribune piece, I think from today. Minnesota legislators are negotiating the biggest pieces of the $66 billion budget in private. And somebody from, see who this quote is from. This is from Minnesotans for Open Government, a spokesman named Don Gemberling.
Sure, I know
Called
Don.
this just awful from a transparency standpoint. I think a lot of legislators don't even know what's in the bills. This is wrong. As I understand it, there was a Star Tribune reporter who originally was allowed into the Human Services Working Group meeting, and then I believe she got kicked out at a later date. So
that's a disgrace.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So give me the history of when media is allowed in and when they're not when it comes to these sorts of smoke-filled room deals being done.
Well, a lot of this is done just by the leaders. So you got the leaders of the four caucuses, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans, and then the governor. A lot of it is just done behind closed doors that way. And that I understand if they're going to work out things like that. But if you've got a working group, and this group is actually going to decide what is in the bill, and there's nobody who knows, nobody can object to it, nobody can say this is the wrong direction, you have no public input, that's a problem. Particularly,
is it illegal?
It's marginal. It's not illegal. Is it a violation of the open meeting law? It's debatable.
Okay,
but I would say the spirit of the law says open it up, particularly because the leaders in the House and Senate said we are going to be completely transparent. We're going to have these open to the public to come in, and it ain't going to happen. So when the legislature meets to settle these bills, all these really important bills that affect everybody in Minnesota, they're going to plop a 1,000, 2,000 page bill on your desk, and you got to vote on it. The same thing's happening in Washington right now. Republicans are trying to get the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wants. Same thing. Everything's behind closed doors. They throw it on your desk and vote on it, or we're going to primary you. So, I think this is one of the ways they do it so that they don't have to face public scrutiny. Absolutely, I think it's wrong.
And so we're at that point again. If we didn't establish this a week ago, there's no momentum. I mean, they got enough issues to deal with as it is that you just laid out some of them. No sports gambling bill is even in the works right now. There's nothing will happen once again for this session.
Absolutely.
As you have predicted, actually, regarding sports gambling, this is going nowhere, and I no longer even understand why. Because now, last time I think you talked to us about this, you said there are elements on both ends politically that have come together in a sense to say we're not going to work, we're not going to do this, correct?
Right, that is correct. But you can't really pass something like this. I mean, who knows what the votes are now? Things change over the course of a session or the course of a year. So who knows what the votes of sports gambling are? There might be enough. But how do you pass sports betting when you're cutting health care for undocumented immigrant children? So you're going to, undocumented immigrant adults. The children
would be covered.
Yes. Yeah. How do you do that? So, I mean, there is an optics thing here. And so sports betting, once again, unless somebody pulls a miracle out of their pocket in the next, for the special session, There's also, and I think there's 3 different franchises that to varying degrees are asking for money. We talked about that, Gaardsy and I, the other day. And none of that will be dealt with in this session either, correct? No, nothing will be done. The Minnesota Wild, the Timberwolves aren't asking yet, but there's going to be an ask on that.
Right.
Vikings wants security money and ongoing money.
For the fence, right?
Yeah. And so do the Twins. They want some ongoing money. So that's not going to happen
the
either.
Warm blankets.
If you can,
they need somebody to pay for the warm blankets.
100% in.
Well, sadly, you're in agreement on that. I know because you got bought off.
With a warm blanket.
With a warm blanket around your thighs.
Happiness is a warm blanket.
That's what they say.
Once again, you're not going to do that. The optics are just not there. You're not going to be working on, you can't even pass the tax bill, human services bill, agriculture, all these bills. If you can't pass those, you're not going to be giving money to the sports franchises. Deserving or not, you're not going to be doing that. So will you explain the Stillwater prison shutdown? Like, do we have another, if I missed it, are we in the final stages of building another prison? I mean, what do we do if we shut that thing down? Where do all the prisoners go? It's pretty amazing. That was a surprise to me, and I don't know why.
Now, was that considered a compromise thing between the Republicans and the Democrats, or what?
It kind of was, but nobody was talking about it during the session. And then suddenly they're going to shut it down, which they say will save $40 million a year. So in upkeep, and what are they going to do with the 1,000 prisoners who are there? They're going to farm them out to other prisons.
In Minnesota?
Yes.
Do we have enough space?
They think so. You know why? I remember. I'm old enough to remember when they started double bunking. I mean, are they going to have to triple bunk now?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to.
What other prisons do we have? Refresh my memory.
Well, we got Oakdale, which is high security. You've got the one outside St. Cloud, which is a very foreboding prison.
Is it?
If you've driven by. Oh, my God.
Not, no.
Right off 10, right?
Yeah, right off Highway 10 there.
It's imposing.
Oh, God.
Is that right?
That's pretty amazing.
We take the kids up there about once a month and just try to keep them straight and narrow.
Is that where you want to end up? This is where you're going?
Yeah, those are the days when parents did things like that. I don't think they do it so much anymore.
And then turn around in the car.
Yeah,
I can't read. Like, you're going to.
You see those bars? You see those bars?
That's where you're going to end
behind.
up.
Yeah.
So they have these, and none of the prisons, the Oakdale, the high security prison there is, that's, I would never call a prison nice, but that is more modern. Both of these prisons, St. Cloud, and you got Lionel Lakes up north, a lot of sex offenders are there. So what are you going to do? That's the big question. That, to me, came out of nowhere. I didn't expect them to do that. That was kind of a surprise. Stillwater, we hardly knew ye. I mean, that's where Cole Younger from the Jesse James gang, that's where they ended up.
I've been there once. Have you ever done any stories from there?
I have.
I figured you probably have.
I mean, again, that's a prison. You go in there, and when they close the door behind you.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you got humans locked up in this place.
That's true.
Who did bad things.
So was the prison itself considered like it's out of date?
Yeah,
Is that part
very
of the
much
issue?
out of date. You can't modernize it. It costs millions a year for upkeep. And
so we need a new stadium and we need a new prison.
How about a new prison?
A new prison, yeah.
Okay, so maybe if we started actually charging people and sending them to prison, we probably would need a new prison. Now, over the years, people are saying that that's what they should do, build a new prison. Every time you, enhance a sentence, make it tougher.
You got to have a place to keep them.
Got a place to put them.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what are you going to do? Put them in a halfway house?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the prison system in Minnesota it's becoming antiquated, and eventually they're going to have to do something. St. Cloud is also pretty outdated, So
give me some details on the announcement. I believe it was from the Trump Department of Justice surrounding we had a number of cities in the country, but notably Minneapolis and Louisville. What was the term that has to do with federal oversight of the police? But there's a term for that.
It's called the consent decree.
The consent decree, right? Yeah. So that had been announced, put in place. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was the last. It was announced a year or so ago, and it was signed in December as the Biden administration was leaving. Now, here's what it is. It is an effort by the Justice Department. They come in, they do an inventory, they do an investigation of the police department in Minneapolis, and they find that they are discriminatory. They need federal oversight because of civil rights violations. And in Minneapolis in particular, the Department of Justice under Biden, after George Floyd, found that the Minneapolis police routinely discriminated against black and Native American residents, and they used deadly force without justification. That's what the Department of Justice said. The State Department in Minnesota of Human Rights also entered into a consent decree with Minneapolis. And what that means is you've got to clean up your act, you have to have training, you have to figure out how to hire, all of that. The Trump administration comes in and they say, well, this is a bunch of BS. That this is all statistics and you're playing around with this. We are not going to enforce this. So it's a pretty big deal. The mayor of Minneapolis says that Minneapolis is still going to adhere by what it says. And the timing of this is interesting because what are we, 5 days away from the fifth anniversary of George Floyd's murder. So you can like it, not like it, but they're pulling this out. Yeah.
So what do you make of, there have been a lot of these recurring rumors that there might be some attempt to pardon Derek Chauvin on some of the charges. I guess
it'd be the federal charges,
yeah. Which would because there's more than federal charges that he was convicted of. So is there anything to this? Is this sort of shock-jocking it up, again, because we're coming up on the anniversary, or is there reason to believe that might be announced in the next few days?
Well, I don't know if there's reason to believe it will be, but I would not be surprised if it was. This has been a concerted effort by a number of people in Minneapolis, particularly more conservative types who believe that Derek Chauvin was framed, that the media lied about it, that Derek Chauvin kneeling on his neck for 9.5 minutes did not kill him. He died of a drug-induced heart attack from all of this. So even though the Hennepin County coroner said that it was death by asphyxiation, and the others were contributing factors. So yes, there has been a concerted effort over the last couple of years to exonerate him, to come up with new evidence. And there have been appeals to the Trump administration. Most recently, a couple of months ago, the prominent podcaster Ben Shapiro said that he should be pardoned. That got the attention of the White House. And so, yeah, there is some talk about it. But Trump initially said, maybe we won't. In the meantime, Minneapolis, maybe he's not going to come down on it, but maybe he'll change his mind in the next couple of days. So yeah, I think it is a possibility. Is it a strong possibility?
Hard to know.
Yeah, hard to know. But did it come out of nowhere? No. This is a concerted effort by people who think Chauvin is innocent.
Special K, Pat Kessler. We got a lot more ground to cover, including, I feel like, more and more details regarding the last few years of the Biden administration. Then there's the Biden cancer announcement as well. Some interesting questions have been raised there, including one by your guy, Dean Phillips. So we got time to get into all of that. Let's get a pause in now, and we will hit the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line as well. You can reach us at 646-86. More Kessler.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
We strive for anything on this program, Kessler, it's accuracy, and now we have to make a prison-related correction. Is that correct?
What did I do in prison?
Correct.
That's the question.
That is a good question.
Well,
it's a very good question.
I mean, of course I know it's in Oak Park Heights, and I've been there.
What did you say, Oakdale?
I said Oakdale. What am I talking about? Well, here
people of Oakdale didn't appreciate it.
Look
today,
at this. On the way in
did you
today,
get a gift?
I received a gift from Gaardsy. It's a
That's
personal
beautiful.
gift, and on the front of it, it says
a personal gift.
It says freshly baked.
Freshly baked, you say?
And so I walked in.
Is that an expression?
I walked in here freshly baked.
Freshly baked, I'm sure you did.
And so I regret the error, as we say in the business.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's...
So, of course, it's Oak Park. I know that, and thank you for clarifying it.
By the way, You sent, refresh my memory, you sent me, within the last 2 weeks, a video that I finally saw on TV the other night, and it was a commercial done by a former huge name in Minnesota politics, hawking a product. I don't remember what the hell the product was. Car Shield. Who was that?
That's your gal, and part of our intro, Representative Michelle Bachmann. She is now doing commercials for Car Shield.
Car Shield, a wonderful company, I'm sure.
It's fantastic. I mean, you see the others. You got Ice-T.
Yes.
I mean,
so is this her only venture into commercial stuff?
Who knows?
And what else is she up to these days?
Okay, what do you get paid to do
I have no idea.
A Car Shield commercial? So, former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. Very prominent back in the day. Is it 10 years ago? I mean, ran for president.
It's got to be in that range. Yeah,
10, 15 years ago. And she was controversial, kind of refreshing. She spoke her mind, and she was always in the news. Now, she'd fit perfectly right here.
You sent it to me, and then I saw it. Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
Well, it's just and then Car Shield.
What channel was on? It was out of nowhere, and there's Michelle Bachmann.
It's so good.
It's just too good.
So I hope, and I don't know exactly what she's doing. She serves on a number of spiritual religious boards, I think, for the White House. Not sure if she's still on that. She was advising President Trump in his first term on religious matters. So, but this is the thing. It always sends me to the Google. I got to go to AI and find out how much you get paid. That one I haven't been able to find out. How much do you get paid for
It's a great question.
Car Shield commercial? I mean, if you're somebody like one of the Paytons, you probably get $1 million to do a progressive commercial or whatever it is. I mean, it's got to be a pretty.
You mean one of the Mannings, like if you're Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
I'm guessing she's not getting quite that amount of coin. I could be wrong.
Well, how much?
I don't know. Yeah.
So I see now Eli and Peyton are doing one together.
Oh, they do a lot together.
Yeah. So
they're doing fine.
And so Kelsey, I mean, all these people are getting. They must be getting a lot of money.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's where Michelle Bachmann is and what she's doing now.
I have a question for you. Let me scroll down to get to it. Oh, this is we'll get back. Well, let's start with the former President Biden cancer reveal, right? Announcement, what he is dealing with there. What do we know? I mean, what do we think we know? Is that the same thing as really knowing all the parameters of this story? What's the latest we have regarding what he is enduring and what his prognosis might be?
This is a very tough diagnosis of prostate cancer for President Joe Biden, announcing just a few days ago that it's metastasized into his bones. It's a hormonal cancer, prostate type of prostate cancer that can be treated, but the dude is how old? 82, 83 now? And so it's very sad because in many cases this is terminal. So it's like everything else in this country has become an explosive political issue now. There's skepticism about the cancer announcement. What did Biden know and when did he know it? Because prostate cancer just doesn't show up in the 100 days since you left office. And then suddenly you're at stage 4. And that's what this is, stage 4 cancer. So what did he know? When did he know it? A new announcement from the Bidens and from the Biden ex-presidency is that he has not had a prostate screening test, a PSA test, since 2014. That's shocking to me that a grown-ass adult male is not getting the prostate exam. Now, I'm getting blood tests myself, and when I found this out, I thought, shoot, I gotta call the doctor, find out what to do, because I wanted to get the finger. You know what I'm saying? What?
Nothing.
Well, I'm talking medically here.
I know that.
What do you? You got to laugh at that?
No,
you shake your head at that?
There's just some days.
It's prostate
don't even
stuff,
know why
man.
I come in
it's
here.
too much even for us.
Yeah, it is.
Well, even I don't have a button to push.
You were left without a button to push on this one, Gaardsy. Think about it.
And I just kept it clean so the power trip can just grab it tomorrow.
Well, no, I'm talking about a medical diagnosis.
Of course you are.
And you're sitting here making fun of me.
Well, no, it's just
ridiculous.
Just a little.
So I am shocked because I'm 80, as you know.
We know that, yes.
And so I get this blood test every single year. But now I find out that he hasn't had a blood test to test for prostate cancer for 11 years now. And that just is kind of shocking to me. You would think as the president that President Biden would do this. Now, there's a lot of political conspiracy stuff going around here. And President Trump issued with Melania a very gracious note, very nice, probably written by AI, but... What?
You couldn't help yourself.
Well, you tell me.
Well, I'm just saying. You're going to
read it.
You're going to get ripped.
Okay,
it's up to you.
You read it, and you tell me if that's what Donald Trump.
In other words, you think that it was too gracious for him to have written it himself.
He just couldn't help himself because I'm going to say an hour later, he then started to amplify some of these conspiracy theories, and he says, and this is what had me pulling my hair out, what little I have, that he is now saying that he very solemnly he noted to reporters, and sadly, that the public deserves more information about a president's health. Are you kidding me?
Well, he's a healthy man. The president is. The president
Zero information.
His own doctor has said he is the healthiest president in our nation's history. Did he not say that?
He absolutely did.
Okay.
He's and might live for many, many years, and
for a third term.
That he is 6'3" and 215 pounds, which is the sculpted body of an NFL.
Of an Adonis.
Yeah, of an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's great. But so we have no information about Trump. And during that weekend, Trump also released the tapes of Robert Hur that everybody was skeptical about, where this independent prosecutor was interviewing him and said that he's like wandered and was not clear in his head and all of this. And people were, come on, man.
Nobody believed it, but it was all true.
It's true. It was all true.
Do you, now, how do you feel about the Dean Phillips suggestion that the timing of the cancer announcement is no accident, that it was an attempt to sort of deflect from, we already have one book out, and then we got the Jake Tapper book coming out in no time. It's talked about. So, Gaardsy, who told me had a terrific satire?
Stewart.
John Stewart apparently had. I still haven't seen it. You ought to send it to me. 3 of the most hilarious minutes he's ever done.
Every CNN show is continuing to promote the book,
like a 24/7.
Sometimes somberly because of the cancer diagnosis.
Okay. I got to see that. I haven't seen that, but it's true. Everywhere, CNN is, and Jake Tapper, who I highly respect, he's like over and over and over.
It's endless. So what do we? Is that fair game by Dean Phillips? Is that too cynical regarding the timing?
Well, yeah. So I'm trying to find the actual quote. Yeah. So
I had it via his Twitter handle. I don't know if I still
let's
do.
find that exact quote.
Because I think he had a tweet regarding that within the last couple of days.
So Dean Phillips, who famously was one of the only people speaking the truth, one of the only Democrats speaking the truth about Joe Biden, and he was shunned and blackballed by the party. He was pretty much driven out of the party and was treated really unfairly, I think, by the Democrats in general. Well, here's what he says. He says that I don't think it's coincidental. This is a quote. Don't think it's coincidental that this was announced this week. It is hard to comport otherwise, is what Phillips said. That's what he told the New York Times.
That's it. That was the quote.
So that's the thing, that he did this to draw attention away from the taped interrogatory where he was feeble and rambled and seemed to lose his way. also the books that are coming out. And he tried himself to pre-butt this, to get ahead of the story, goes on The View and says he could have beat Trump and seemed feeble. Everybody knew it, and Dean Phillips, but the Democrats either knew it and covered it up or were willfully blind to all of this. So
the latest,
it's just ridiculous.
I think this is again from the Tapper book, co-written by, is it Alex Thompson is the guy who did it with him?
Yeah, from Axios.
This report that they had one of those basically quote unquote town hall situations where Biden is speaking to supporters for 90 minutes and they could not, even though this was the intent of the whole deal, they could not even muster up or work up a commercial out of that event that would have lasted 30 or 60 seconds. It was so bad and so disorienting that they could not even get a 30-second spot out of it. That's how horrific it was.
Okay, I did not know that story. That is a great story, and this kind of fits in with everything that they've been saying, of course. The cabinet meetings with Biden, where the chief of staff was asking in advance for written questions from the cabinet members, and then he had responses for that. I mean, it's just, it's all just blowing up. It's just crazy. So if he had been elected, if Joe Biden had been elected, if he had beaten Donald Trump and ran in the race and did the whole deal, he's not going to finish the term. I mean, sadly, and it makes me sad to say this, but this is an aggressive form of cancer, and I feel bad, but he would not have finished the term.
By the way, a text came in. We're running out of time here, but I heard this on the way home last night, listening to CNN in the car, and it was a world-renowned prostate doctor being interviewed on CNN about the whole situation. This was either last night or the night before.
Sure.
And he said the same thing that this individual notes regarding guidelines, U.S. medical guidelines for individuals 70 years old or older. PSA-based screening for prostate cancer is not recommended for individuals 70 years or older.
I can hardly believe that.
I've never heard of that before.
Me
but
too.
But what makes me believe there's some truth to it is I heard it from the mouth of this renowned medical professional saying the same thing. So I don't know if that means it's semantics, that instead you use other efforts to monitor as opposed to...
What other kinds of efforts,
PSA,
Dan?
Well, no, not the glove. Not the glove. We're not back to the glove. There's other stuff I think that can also be involved.
So that men are more susceptible over the age of 70, after age 70, to prostate cancer, and then we're not treating.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
We're going to get, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to send a text to the big knocker. This isn't his specialty, but he might be able to find us somebody whose specialty it is, and we'll try to get some of those
so we need to, and I just want to wrap this up by saying, overall, what this tells me, we have to age gate politicians.
That's what you want to say, that you just want to bar people from a certain age.
I do.
That's ageist.
And it's ageism. It is.
Shouldn't it depend on the individual?
How will
Not
you know?
everybody's brain.
How will you know?
Well, I guess you're talking about cognitive tests. We're gonna
maybe. So what's the age? Is it?
Well, you
70?
tell me.
Is it 75? Is it 80? We age gate everything else on the other end.
Yeah. Well, that's
for
true.
guns, for alcohol, for voting, for running for president. And at the back end, it's not legal, but we take car keys away from our parents.
We do.
I mean,
yeah, we do.
So we got to do something about this. Trump is going to be 79 this year.
In his third term, he'll be in his 90s.
I know. So
close to it.
Get ready.
All right, we got to go. Thank you.
All right, man.
See you at the Wolves game on Saturday.
Courtside.
You'll be there. You can afford it. Don't act like you can't afford it. Are you kidding me?
It's so much money.
You guys got so much money.
It's so much money. If I had your money, I'd throw mine away.
It's not even.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Show Wrap brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
What a controversial program today. We want to thank all three of our outstanding guests. Comrade Pat Kessler, who joined at 5:30. In addition, Luigi in studio. How about that? On his way to Marrakesh. That's where he's headed next. You can't make it up.
He said he will be here next week, though.
Yes, that's right, before he leaves.
We've got one more week with them.
And Louis was on about 4:15 until all the way till 5. And then our good friend Chris Hine, who covers the Timberwolves for the Star Tribune, gave him a chance to react to Game 1 and to look ahead to what we might expect in Game 2 tomorrow night. Hine joined between 3:30 or 4. All of the programs, of course, podcastable, downloadable, etc. Tonight on The Fan, by the way, Fan and a Man will be followed by your Minnesota Lynx home opener. Undefeated against Paige Beckers, Hopkins' own, in town. As the Lynx try to remain undefeated. That'll be on our flagship FM 100.3 The Fan. Tomorrow, bonus Johnny from OKC. I think we got a good shot at Sam Mitchell tomorrow as well. And Aaron Gleeman in studio to talk about the Red Hot Twins. They had to settle today for a split, but they're still in very good position. Against the split, of course, was against the Cleveland Guardians. So Gleeman, and I'm guessing we'll probably talk some Wolves with
he'll have thoughts
with Gleeman as well, because he's a huge Wolves insider, loves the team. I don't think he goes to as many games as he used to, does he?
No, his mom goes to a handful of games.
Yeah, that's right. But he is still very much connected and extremely invested. Tonight, not on The Fan, Eastern Conference Finals begin. I think it's another series that could be quite interesting. The slightly favored New York Knicks hosting the Indiana Pacers as well. So I kind of like the Pacers in that series, but I think I wouldn't be surprised either way. And right now, my predictions feel off. I mean, I did pick the Wolves in 6. It's not over by any means, but not a good performance in the opener. Second half, the thing fell apart at so many levels that let's just say the Wolves have a lot of work to do. And they've come back before, they've adjusted before, but what has to be kept in mind is they're going to have to do that at a higher level, because they are clearly playing a better team than they did against the superstar-laden Los Angeles Lakers of Anaheim and the Golden State Warriors of Oakland. Is that correct?
You have to be better for longer. Better
for longer. That's a good way to put it. So that's the plan. If the show, most of you know by now, starts at 3 o'clock. I'm hoping we'll be able to see the sun by then. I don't know, man. It's been a bad stretch.
Good luck. It says sun tomorrow.
Does it?
Yes. Sunny and 60-something.
60s. Okay, yeah. Well, that would be a nice change after a rather difficult period. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.
Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the great time. We love you, Dan.
Well, go Twins. Thank you for the airtime, and I'll talk to you soon.
And with that, I need to go. I do appreciate your call, though. Thank you so much.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.